and Jai Jagannath to each and every one of you and my esteemed guests this afternoon. Of course, the afternoon is not yet started. So I stand corrected that they're still in the morning. By the time we are over, it would be afternoon. So that's perfectly fine. And, we at Rashtriya Boudhik Manch normally organizes several, these webinars on various topics, starting from Corona, the doctors, the chartered accountants, and everyone is involved in this small journey of, Rashtriya Boudhik Manch in enlightening the common mass as well as us. So today we are going to discuss, budget 2022-23, a long-term vision. And to grace this occasion, we have our own, and I would say that who is our mentor and to some extent guide us through and through in our journey is none other than Shri Anil Gupta ji, Joint General Secretary, Delhi RSS, Council Member of the ICSI as well as ICAI.
Namaskar, Sangram ji.
Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. So, and the next distinguished speakers are Anand Singh Bhal, joined Indian Economic Service in the year 1985. He is also a distinguished speaker and having vast knowledge on the subject. The second speaker is Mr. Arun Kumar, who has achieved within that short span of time his place under the sun as an expert on the subject. The art of reading a budget or knowing a budget is not actually making money, but how to spend it or how to keep it. So to know about the budget, since we have two, and of course to top it all, we have Anil Gupta ji, two distinguished speaker, and Anil Gupta ji would be a icing on the cake, I must say, because his knowledge is probably no comparison to each one of us. I was just thinking to go ahead, but this morning itself, that the tragedy happened, and without telling anyone else, it happened. So, as a matter of duty towards the great singer, and of course, she requires no introduction. Probably every Indian knows her. Why Indian? Even world at large knows her name. And I would not, take much time on her introduction. But of course, few things I must say that he has given soundtracks of more than 2,000 Indian films, and the career extending up to 6 decades. Almost, I would not say 3 generations, but 2.5 generations. So everyone, right from the independence time to till date, knows her name, and every village, every home is, I would not be exaggerating in saying so, that nobody would be saying that I don't know who is Lata, the nightingale, and one and only the real nightingale, I must say. We have lost her. So my only request to my brothers, my guests, to give that inconvenience of having a silent prayer for 1 minute in the regard and in the achievement that she has done for our country. This is a small token of our respect to her. So if my guests would not mind, we'll have a standing silence for 1 minute in respect of her. Silent prayer, please. thank you so much for the patience. And in fact, I must say that this was not in our, program today, but this kind of tragedy probably in Rashtriya Bodhi Manch, we couldn't able to possibly avoid this. So maybe we will have another debate or webinar on Lataji in a near future. And that is, of course, I mean, Boudhik by means itself, it says the intellectual. I don't know, there is a relationship between intellectual as well as the singing fraternity. So we would have a program, but without taking the consent of my brothers who are available here in this platform, I have thought that, yes, the such kind of great singer we have lost, and we are discussing about budget. So it is a fitting tribute to her if we can organize one of those programs in recent future. So Rashtriya Bodhi Manch part, my brother would take care of that. Yes, what achievement we have done in the short span of time. I would give that opportunity to Tapasji. But before that, the three speakers today, the Boudhik Manch, Rashtriya Bodhi Manch, would like to have the Boudhik or the thirds of three great speaker, I would say. One is my own, I would say, my brother, Mr. Anil Gupta ji, and of course, Arun Kumar Jha ji and Shri Anand Singh Bhal ji. Both of them are expert, and of course, to top it all, our Anil Gupta ji would grace this occasion. So I would not be taking much time in introducing them because I have all their long CVs. I would leave my brother who would be carrying on this session to introduce him in a much better fashion. I have all the confidence on my team rather than myself to take this program ahead and make it a super success. So now I would request I would say he's my right hand and of course left hand. He also requires no introduction. I must bet that Tapas Ranjan Parida, he always available in a, I can tell you, sir, he has one ability to make everyone together, and within a short span of time, he would probably gather 100 people to do an occasion like this. And if you give him, 24 hours, he would make it 1,000. That is the speciality of him. And he is a very lovable, soul in our entire group. So over to Tapas ji, please. Our Secretary of Rashtriya Bodhi Manch, without whom we cannot think about the Rashtriya Bodhi Manch at all. So he is the backbone and the front bone of Rashtriya Bodhi Manch. Over to you, Tapas.
Thank you so much, President ji. Honorable guest, esteemed speaker, and respected audience. Before speaking about the organization, just tell me a few words about our president. He is a renowned advocate of our country, having standing up more than 25 years in Supreme Court of India and High Court of the various state, and a specialist in commercial and corporate law, practiced in many TV debate, columnist, teach corporate law in prestigious university. Toward the end of the 2018, a group of educated, dynamic, like-minded persons working in diverse field and represent all work of the society get together to establish an organization with a mission of nation first, and with the prime objective to rectify and enhance the intellectual glory of Bharat. As a result, Rashtriya Boudhik Manch (RBM) was established as a pan-India independent, registered, non-government and non-profit civil society organization headquartered at New Delhi. From its inscription, RBM has working relationally not only in the intellectual sphere but also beyond the which, including capacity building and service delivery to disparate and margin section of society. During the COVID-19 pandemic, RBM with its active members delivered around 30,000 cooked food packets to the needy people of Delhi, arranged online doctor consulting for COVID patients, spreading awareness regarding the COVID. Before pandemic, RBM has conducted a candlelight march after Pulwama incident, where our brave soldier are material. RBM has also organized a 12 high-level intellectual panel discussion and talks in Premium Institute of Delhi like IIT JNU in physical mode and during the pandemic in online mode. Topic of this discussion are mother tongue and nation building, emergency new world order from COVID-19, MS sector in economic booster during and post-COVID, India-China face-off at LOC, Omicron surgeon, the best precaution and cure, and many more. Prominent speakers who graced the panel discussion including Honorable ex-Union Minister Shri Pratap Sarangji, former member of Parliament and National Vice President of BJP Shri Baijanti Pandaji, Major General G.D. Bakshiji, former AIMS Bhubaneswar Director Dr. Ashok Mahapatraji, former AIMS Director Bhopal Dr. Sarjan Singh, Railway Secretary Sri Sukant Mahapatraji, former Secretary Arun Pandaji, and Textile Secretary EP Singh, many more eminent speakers from various fields. On base the discussion and outcome, we have taken up the issue with the concerned authority for implementation. RBM family believe in collaboration and bonding in society, for which we have organized two Parivar Milan of like-minded people in Delhi. Due to Corona pandemic, we have been organizing the program in online or hybrid mode. Today, we are fortunate to have gathering of intellectuals who are eagerly waiting to listen our guests, Sri Anil Gupta ji, Arun Kumar Jha ji, and Sri Anand Singh Bhal ji. I don't want to barrier between of the honorable speaker and all of you. Now I request to the Vice President of RBM, Dr. S.K. Jaina ji, to manage the program further. Before handing over to Mr. Jaina, let me speak a few words about our Vice President, Mr. Jaina ji. S.K. Jaina ji presently posting as private secretary to Honorable Minister of the State, Jal Shakti. Prior to joining the ministry, he was director of ICSI. He was almost 20-year experience working in various capacities such as lecturer of the economist, joint secretary, joint director CBSE, regional director of the AICTE, MHRD Government of India. Now we request to Janavai to organize and moderate the panel discussion. Over to Janavai.
Thank you very much, Tapas. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, respected guest of this program, Sri Anil Gupta ji, and our beloved President of Rashtriya Boudhik Manch, Sangram Bhai. Popularly, we call him Sangram Bhai. And the two eminent speaker of this program are today Dr. Arun Kumar Jha and Sri Anand Singh Bhal ji. And all the office bearer of the Rashtriya Boudhik Manch, the participant, audience, and the delegates present today to listen this budget session of Rashtriya Boudhik Manch. So welcome you all to this program. And before we proceed further, I would like to tell you that I was also present in the Lok Sabha when this time the Honorable Finance Minister was delivering the budget speech. I was in the officer gallery, and it was really a wonderful experience to listen the budget live. Every year I used to listen, on the TV, but this time I got that opportunity to, attend the budget session from the officer gallery. So, as we know that budget is such a topic which touches each and every individuals of the country, and maybe poor, maybe rich, maybe middle class, everybody is associated with the budget. And every year, budget, we bring with some novel ideas, some innovations, some new schemes, new principles of the government of India for the benefit of this 140 crores people of our country. So this time the wonderful thing is the budget which expect the 9.2% of the GDP growth, which is highest in the world, and the PM Gati Shakti, which has been designed in this budget, covering the 8 main infrastructure of this country, like roads, railway, airport, ports, then transport, waterways, logistic, and infrastructure. And it is estimated to have that 60 lakhs new job creation in India in next years to come. So this is the small wonderful things that I would like to share at the beginning. And that today's topic is budget 22-23 and the long-term vision. Definitely it has set the long-term vision for the country to make India a superpower in coming years and to make it a Vishwaguru in coming years. So definitely the budget, the provision will help us to reach to our target, which has been designed by our Honorable Prime Minister of this country and the Government of India. So without taking much time, I would like to introduce our guest of honor today, Shri Anil Gupta ji, who is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. Presently, he is a practicing chartered accountant and a partner of Gupta Sachideva company. He is also having immense contribution towards the profession of chartered accountancy. As we know, it is one of the prestigious profession in India. His contribution to the government, various departments in the field of direct tax, finance, indirect tax is quite significant. He has delivered more than 300 lectures on various financial matters, taxation, accounting, auditing standard. He is also frequently nominated as the government nominee to the Council of Institute of Company Secretary of India, where I got an opportunity to serve as the director. But unfortunately, Anil Saab, we could not meet due to some occasions or due to some reasons. And it is an wonderful occasion where we are meeting each other today. And welcome you all to this technical session of this budget 2022 and 23. So without taking much time, I'd like to invite our guest of honor, Shri Anil Gupta ji, to deliver his address. Over to you, Anil ji.
Thank you. Joy Jagannath to all the participants. I am so thankful to Rashtriya Boudhik Manch for providing me this opportunity to interact with such an elite class. My special thanks to Sangram Patnaik ji, Dr. S.K. Jaina, and very dear friend, Mr. Tapas. I pay my respect to Anand Singh Bhal ji and Mr. Arun Kumar Jha ji. See, first of all, I will like to pay my respect to the voice of India, Lata Mangeshkar. She was the real disciple of Saraswati Ma, and it's a great loss to the nation, there's no doubt, but she has lived her age, and she was the brand ambassador of India for each and every country that exists on this planet. So it's an honor that she was daughter of this country. So it's an honor for all of us also. Now let me come to the topic, the budget. You see, we are having two very eminent speakers, and I was told that they have been part of budget formation itself. So I will also like to hear them. I have few issues which I will like to discuss in this 5 or 10 minutes talk. First of all, people are saying it's a boring budget. So I tried to find the meaning of this word boring with respect to economy and with respect to the budget. Boring is something else. But here, very interestingly, the boring budget means it's a good budget. Because whenever there is stability in the policies of a country, people lose interest in reading the budget. So that stability itself, though makes it boring, but it lays down a long-term plan for the providing a fillip to the economy of the country. So boring budget is always welcome. That's the first issue I will like to share with you. Secondly, the very interesting part is, you see, whole of the world is facing such a situation for last 2 years, especially. This is the third budget, March 20, March 21, and March 22, right? The world over economies are going down. But it's our economy, as Mr. Jaina rightly said, that we have achieved a growth rate of more than 9%. So which shows that in spite of so many rigors, in spite of the world facing a historical flaw somewhere in the nature or somewhere in the humankind, still our country is progressing. So the credit goes to two things, especially apart from many other issues. Number one, when the last year it was said that within a year, this country will be able to provide vaccination to more than 150 CR of the population, people were not believing it. See, the population that we are having, you combine the continents and still you won't find that much population in those countries. And the promise that was made by this government, we saw it, that they were able to fulfill it. And just see the benefit from the point of economy. I'm not discussing the health. The benefit from the economy is that during this third wave, the country passed it very smoothly. And when a country faces these type of hurricanes very smoothly, the economy grows. So the first credit goes for this growth of economy to this huge vaccination exercise that this government has taken. So my congrats to the government for this providing this facility to each and every citizen of this country. Second point, just see the announcements they have made. I will just read 3-4 because as I said, we are having two very special speakers amongst us. I have 3-4 questions also. So I will put all in front of you. The very interesting concept which I find will change the path of this country's economy, that is one station, one product. Most of you might have heard of one district, one product. And it's very much prevalent in Uttar Pradesh. But one station, one product, if this takes real shape, at the moment it is on the paper because it's just an announcement. But I am of the opinion that seeing the sincerity of this government over the last 6 to 7 years, I am sure that this announcement of one station, one product will provide immense opportunities to the micro industries, to the unorganized sector, and will also provide employment opportunities to the citizens of this country. Another 3-4 announcements which are very interesting, and they have covered each type of roadways, like Vande Mataram trains 400, then cargo terminals. You see, Vande Mataram train means on the train tracks. Then 100 cargo terminals means they have covered the seas also, right? Then Parvatmala they have also taken care of, and they have announced national roadway on the basis of PPP model. Then 25,000 kilometers of the national highways. So the infrastructure in a country where the goods cannot move from one place to other place, the economy cannot take shape, the economy cannot grow. So this government has laid a special prominence to providing the infrastructure. And another very interesting announcement is, you see, Atal Bihari Vajpayee started this, the river links. Now they have given the names of the rivers which they will be linking during the next few years. And there are 5 rivers. So once the rivers get linked, you see the wastage of water, the flood problems, and the irrigation issues. Number of issues get resolved when you are having the river links. Another the issue which I would like to discuss with you is the post office to bank scheme. You cannot have bank at each and every corner of the country. And our country lives in the villages, and villages are growing. These are not villages of underdeveloped country. They are villages of, I see another issue which I would like to just mention, that people say we are a developing country. I say we are almost developed country. Stop saying we are. The way the growth is see, once you leave the city and you start moving to some other town or some other city on the national highways, you get surprised. You don't believe that we are moving in this country. We are in India. The condition of the roads, the condition of the stations, the condition of the airports. So all these is definitely helping the citizens a lot. So in the same continuity of the progressive actions that this government has taken, this post office to bank will definitely bring a fillip to the growth of economy. There are 150,000 post offices in the country. So once they get connected digitally to the banks, just see the movement of the money that will take place. So that's again a very good announcement. Then electric vehicle is going to be the future of the any economy of this world. And we are also looking forward to purchase electric vehicles. Still the prices are not within the reach, but I am sure the prices will come to the reach. I'm not discussing the electric vehicle. So the problem with respect to the electric vehicles was the battery. How will you charge the battery? So they have brought a very interesting announcement they have made, the battery swapping policy. See, the battery will be taken out from your vehicle, and a battery which is there in the battery bank, that will be placed inside your vehicle. So that will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes. And you will again be able to run your vehicle. Pollution-free vehicle. The inflation that this country is facing, that is imported inflation. It's not domestic inflation. Why I'm saying imported inflation? Because it's due to the oil prices. It's due to the oil bill, the oil import bill. So once we are able to replace our vehicles with the battery, our dependence on the oil will also shrink away, and that will lead to again giving a fillip to the growth of this country. Capex. They have made a huge announcement of additional 2 lakh crore rupees to the capex. So I am stopping my discussion here. Now because a limited time of 12 minutes have been given to me. I have no issues with respect to the time. Now my few questions, which I will like the honorable speakers, if possible, to address this. It's up to it's their decision as such. First, as I was reading various articles, what I found was that the capex announcement was made in the previous budgets also. Out of those announcements, what I read in the articles, only 50% has been spent. So the government should have given the reasons for spending 50%. Why the balance of the 50% was not the government able to spend? The government should have spent it. The more the transparency in the government, the more the citizens enjoy the democracy. Secondly, this disinvestments. So they made a huge investment with respect to disinvestment, but they were far, far away from the target that they fixed for themselves for the disinvestment. The question is, who were the culprits? Why they were not able to reach those targets? So in this democratic country, we expect the government not merely to make the announcements. We expect the government to give the reasons while standing in the parliament why the announcements they were made in the last budget, why they were not able to fulfill in this 1 year. That's another issue which I will like if the speakers can throw light on it. Then middle class. See, wherever I am going for lectures, middle class is raising lot many questions to me that what were the announcements with respect to the middle class. So I asked in one of the sessions, what announcements you were expecting. So they gave a very interesting answer to it. They said that during this COVID, 2 very painful issues have emerged with respect to the middle class. Number one, their salaries have been slashed, especially with respect to the private sector. Or in the government also, those who are on the contracts, even their salaries have been slashed. And secondly, they said, we are not getting employment. So the employment promises that the government makes from year to year, as just some, I think Mr. Jana said that 60 lakhs employment promises they have made for the next 5 years. Where is the roadmap? They should come out with the roadmap that how they want to provide. It's not an election meeting. It's after all, they are carrying the economy on their shoulders, and the people want to hear the roadmaps for it. Next issue which people are feeling pinch of is that the tax rates have rightly been reduced with respect to the corporate sector. I am not coming to the tax provisions, but yes, tax rates, people were expecting reduction in the standard deduction, increase in the standard deduction. And people were expecting that when you can give 15%, 22% rate to the corporate sector, then why can't there be reduction to the individuals who are reeling under the inflation pressure especially during the last 2 years. The inflation has increased a lot. My last issue is the fiscal deficit. See, 2 points I want to share with my all the learned speakers and the learned audience. That fiscal deficit was considered as a sin if the fiscal deficit is on a higher side. The FRBM bill says that fiscal deficit should not be more than 3%, and we are touching almost 7%. But the question that was asked to me was a very interesting question. They said, in the previous years, the Western world used to treat this fiscal deficit as a sin. But when this COVID came, so the tax collections and the other revenues, they came down. When they came down, the governments all over the world were having no alternative except from printing the notes. So when the whole of the world accepted this fiscal deficit, our country used it in a very right manner, and the fiscal deficit, which has increased over the last 2 years, that has been very rightly put in the growth path, and all the infrastructure that we are seeing. The one of the major reasons for that is this fiscal deficit factor. So my question to the learned speakers is, will we be able to reduce it? Let's say not 3%, but will we be able to reduce it to 4%? And what path the government should take to reduce this 7% to 4%? So with that, I am handing over the mic to the anchor of the program, Dr. Jena. I'm so thankful for for giving me the patient hearing, and over to the learned speakers. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Anil, for your introductory remark and also putting some vital questions to our technical speakers today. And I hope they will take up these issues in their presentation. And thank you so much for joining today with us and sharing your thoughts. And one thing I would like to share all our audience today, that though I have technically or intellectually introduced Anilji, but one thing I would like to share with his permission, that he is also our joint organizing secretary of Rashtriya Boudhik Manch of Delhi Prant. So our Rashtriya Boudhik Manch is also associated with our Sangh. So it will be our pleasure to have Anilji always in this platform in future also. Thank you so much. So to take this panel discussion further with respect to the budget 2022-23 and the vision ahead, long-term vision ahead, we have an eminent speaker with us today, Shri Arun Kumar Jha. Mr. Jha is an Indian Economic Service Officer of 1985 batch and have had opportunity to the master of many skill courtesy of Government of India, reposing that in handling varied assignments of the critical importance of many levels and hierarchy in different departments, ministries and autonomous bodies. Human resource management, research, analysis, along with understanding situational intelligence have become an integral part of his personality. He has developed a unique trait in analyzing the data, assessing the socio-economic situation and arriving at a strategy to turn around the department organization situation to the best of his ability and to advantage the government. And with a rich and varied and the vast all-around management policy formation implementation with specialization in understanding, analyzing the data, human resource, finance, he is now ready to take the new responsibilities and assist the leadership in the government in any sector where his services can be put to use. So now, with this small introduction, I'd like to invite our eminent speaker, Sri Arun Kumar Jhaji, to deliver his address, please. Over to you, Arunji.
Thank you very much, Jana Saab. Thank you, everybody. And I am thankful to Rashtriya Boudhik Manch for giving me this opportunity. I will just share one PPT for the benefit of all of us. So I think Mr. Gupta has already set the tone and he has already covered many parts of the I would just like to, he has covered the aspect that is few broad concepts. We know that budget is a annual financial statement of the India and under constitution. Everywhere it is announced and every year it gives a account of receipts and expenditure. So, what happens every year, because we are a developing economy, emerging economy, rather, as Mr. Patak was saying, that we are already almost developed. So, but we can say that we are an emerging economy. So budget deficit, of course, we know that total expenditure minus total receipt. But what is fiscal deficit? Fiscal deficit has only one another aspect, that revenue should not include borrowings. So it gives a quality of deficit. And why he was saying deficit is a sin. Why? Because it is thought that, or it is not thought, it is proven that deficit will always be inflationary. But at the same time, there is a caveat, as Mr. Gupta has already said. If those expenditure is only going towards investment, which produces goods and services equal or more value of that deficit, then the inflation will be contained. What is our fiscal deficit? He has already covered, Mr. Gupta, that is 6.9%. And next year we are thinking of 6.4%. Now, why inflation is problematic? Because inflation affects the poor. Secondly, it puts the burden on the next generation because we are consuming the future consumption today itself. Now, what are those threats? Mr. Gupta has touched that also, that, crude oil, the prices have increased almost by 2 times. $90 we are touching. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So what happens if the prices are rising? We are importing at a higher price. So we are importing inflation also, even though we are very, very good. Because we are a part of global village now, you cannot, escape such kind of attack on you. And secondly, as you were saying, that we print the money. So it is called pumping the liquidity or pump priming. So monetary policy as a tool has a not everlasting impact on the economy. It has to be replaced by global and fiscal policy. But still, it has its usage. If you see that, of course, we have decreased the saving medium interest rate on savings, medium term. But at the same time, loan, credit interest has also come down by almost 2%, which is very good for the investor if they want. But since everybody in the world, they are doing this, they all will have this kind of problem. So that when I said crude oil import, other aspect which is, we are connected with the world, those global inflation will influence our bond market. And secondly, in addition to that, with the high borrowing by the center and states, our inflationary pressure will be there. So we have to be very, very careful about it. So this is how budget has tackled it. I'm trying to tell you that. Why public investment necessary? Infrastructure, of course, they say employment generation, because people are facing this unemployment problem. But and what we are claiming that we have almost come back to the pre-pandemic level of the economy, except those two sectors, that is contact intensive sectors, that is hospitality, retail. Secondly, private consumption still is remaining below pre-pandemic levels. So that's why public investment is necessary. Otherwise, world over it will say that it is a new concept, the capital market, let private sector come and we should help them in investing there. And that's why corporate sector tax was reduced. It was with the rider that they have to invest in the some kind of investment. Now, what we are seeing that we are having a capex in this budget fixed at scheduled at 7.5 lakhs, which is almost 35% more than the last capex of 5.54 lakhs, and that 5.4 lakhs was also almost 25% more than the 2021 capex of 4.12 lakhs. And this 7.5 lakh is very huge amount. It is almost 3% of the total budgeted allocation of 39 lakhs crore. And that is the beauty of this budget. Last 3 years completely, we have never seen such a high amount of capex, because always been lot of subsidy, populist measure, which are all inflationary. So what I want to say that such kind of investment will not be inflationary if slight care is taken care by the government. And another good feature came that last year, this current fiscal, we saw a high increase in the revenue received by the taxation. And first time in the history of this country, I think earlier once it has happened, that percentage of direct taxes collection is almost more than 50%, because indirect taxes are regressive and it affects poor most. So it was almost 28% of increase was seen at 21.7 lakh crore, and government has estimated only 22.84. There has been criticism, or rather at the same time appreciation also by the press, that government has taken a conservative view, because they expect that the collection in 2023 will be more than 24 lakh crore, giving seeing the last trend. Our expenditure current year is 37.7 lakh crore, and 39.4 lakh crore was estimated in 2023. To answer the question of Mr. Gupta that why government has not given, whatever, I am not justifying why it was not given. But I am slightly, because I was part and parcel of those economic data collection. I was in DA also, Mr. Bhal was also there in the DA. Everything is not possible in this, budget document. Budget document is not very big, and this time it was slightly shorter also. Economic survey also should cover it, but they cannot cover everything, because it is spread across the ministry. And there is a question that, you can see that, I will show you the figure at the last, that how much employment has been generated, what all has been done. So, road infrastructure, like 38 kilometers per day, we are achieving in the road construction, which is a record. And 2-3 Guinness Book of World Record has already been created in the road history, because in one day so many kilometers was done. One day so many bridges were constructed. So these are Guinness Book of World Record. So perhaps it should have been given, but what happens? Those are because again the COVID had impacted, some of the things might have gone haywire. Fiscal deficit, of course, we have already talked that it has gone up to 15 lakh crores, almost 6.9%, and next year we are expecting it to be about 6.4%, 6.6 lakh crores. And proportion of GDP, fiscal deficit went up from 3.9% in 1920 to 96.4% estimated to be 6.4, and 2026 we are thinking of coming back to the 4%. So point I'm saying that government is aware of this kind of situation, and first time a long vision has been taken in the budget. Otherwise, generally budget only 1 year of time period is generally taken. So what happened? This budget has become a one part of the long vision of the government, and for which it is a credit worthy, because generally government does not want to take a chance, because they are always afraid that next year they will ask you something. Like we are asking why you are not showing all those investment, all those expenditure. So next year we will ask that you had said that in Amrit Kal this will happen. Why you are not showing it? So government has taken upon itself very important responsibility. And in my 37 years of careers in the government, I have never seen such a bold budget. Let me tell you. Now, market borrowing is also going to be 11.59 lakh. That is, of course, a sign of worry, because our borrowing has almost gone up more than 100% of this. And that is only public debt, let me tell you. If you combine private debt, it may go up to almost 150%. So that is one sign of worry. But of course, we are emerging economy, we may take care of that. Because 42% of our revenue receipt is adjusted against the debt servicing itself. So quality of debt, that's why I'm saying quality, we have set upon ourselves a quality of deficit. If it is more than 40% of the total budget, we say it is not good. And secondly, tax GDP ratio, we are at about 8.9% to 9%, but we have set upon ourselves a thumb rule of 13%. Once we had achieved that. But I told you that composition of tax, is changing, and direct tax collection has gone up more than 50%, which is a very good sign. Another thing I have already told you that 42% of servicing is there. Now, following slides I have taken from Budget Division of DA, just for your information, as PM Gati Shakti. Why I am trying to show you all these things? That, all these things, if you see, these are, the thing which will not be inflationary. These are all showing that we are going for the investment in the right place for produce goods and services. This is the graph I wanted to show you, that if you see this, sorry. This is showing that how much employment is increasing, because this is the addition to the EPFO subscription. And if you see, it is increasing by almost 13.9%, 14% increase in this subscription rate, which itself is a sign of employment creation. Secondly, if you see that quarterly expenditure, Mr. Gupta's questions answer that how it is increasing. Expenditure is increasing. It has dipped during COVID. This time also it dipped, again it has gone back. And deficit is shrinking. You just see. So all these things have been shown in the budget. But of course, more should have been done. You just see that these are all first infrastructure investment, road, railways, airport, etc. These are non-inflationary. This is logistic interface integration. India, what happens? We are supposed to have a high logistic cost economy of almost 13 to 14%, vis-a-vis 8 to 9% all over the world. So we are taking this kind of actions just to bring it down. And if you remember, 2 years back, a department of logistics has been created. which are, taking care of this kind of thing. That, what happens, our major problem is connectivity, last mile connectivity from the container corporation, port to railway station to bus station to doorstep. All these things are being taken care of. And he has already said that one station, one product, it is a revolutionary idea which has been taken, because we have got almost 8,000 stations. Have you ever wondered from where the bansuri comes? हम लोग बांसुरी कहाँ से मिलता है? When I was in Khadi and Village Industries Commission, Pilibhit is one of the places where there is a cluster of bansuri. I was not aware. So there may be several such products which are, not getting attention. But once a station master will have a responsibility to identify one product, something will come up. Secondly, this 150,000 post office becoming branches. You can't imagine the inclusiveness. Nobody will have to go anywhere because they know all postman by name, by face, by everything. He is a part and parcel of this village society. So, it will help us. Please tell me if I am over, stepping the time. Please tell me. Achha, then, what happened last year, 2 years before, this Kisan Samman, where we are paying 6,000 rupees to every, it is a major, big, subsidy program. Of course, it will be inflationary, but, why it will not be inflationary? Because presently, farmer's income, after covering his,
Expenses.
Subsistence food production for himself, is almost 11,000 per household. But with the addition of this 6,000, it will go up to 17,000 in one go. It is almost 70%. So such kind of thing, even though inflationary, should be taken. And I think because it is only second year we are entering into this Kisan Samman by paying 6,000, they will be feeling the benefit of this now. Secondly, you see that 80 crores people are getting ration, free ration. Nowhere in the world it can match. Why? Because we are self-sufficient in food production. Rather, we are over surplus, except in oilseed. And this time, you will be happy to note that almost 19 lakh hectares additional rapeseed and mustard cultivation sowing has been done, reducing the wheat sowing by almost 3 lakh ton, which is in favor of our policy, because it will give rise to more of oilseed which is required here. And at the same time, during entire this period of COVID, agriculture growth has been, you just see, 4.3% in 1920, 3.8% in 2021, and 3.9%. So it is phenomenal. So how it will help farmers, how we should direct something, that is also very important. And we are doing it through, taking care of irrigation, as Mr. Gupta was saying, that Ken Betwal link project, 5 more such projects will come up. And let me tell you, I belong to North Bihar, where flood is like a, you cannot imagine the kind of havoc it creates. My village becomes an island during the flood time. I have never ever remembered that flood has not come. So if you are able to take care of this, if government is able to take care of such kind of, linking, the life will become, almost turned around. So Mr. Tapas Ranjan, I think I will take a stop here and let the other speaker take over.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.